Apakah Nike baru saja memberikan seragam US Open terbaik untuk Alex Eala? Karena setelah melihat penampilan Sinner, Alcaraz, dan Sabalenka, saya benar-benar berpikir begitu. Jadi ini adalah penampilan barunya dan Nike benar-benar tampil luar biasa dengan desain ini. Saya suka warna biru royal ini, trim hitam putihnya, dan panel jaringnya memberikan kesan retro ala basket yang keren. Dan setelah menjadi orang Filipina pertama yang memenangkan gelar WTA, dia kini menuju New York dengan seragam Nike yang bisa dibilang terbaik di turnamen ini. Bagaimana menurut kalian? Apakah ini tampilan US Open terbaik sejauh ini? Ikuti info mode tenis dan pembaruan US Open lainnya seperti ini.
After Sabalenka revealed that she would not be receiving any custom fits next year recently, giving y'all the backstory before I go into Sabalenka's quote, Aryna has been with Nike for essentially her entire pro career. She's been competing in their clothes.
Nike just dropped a brand new collection, and it exists for one reason only: to commemorate Alex Eala's first ever WTA title at the Washington Open. This isn't a recycled template pulled off a shelf. This is a purpose-built release, timed and designed around one moment, one trophy, one 21-year-old from the Philippines who just rewrote tennis history. And the timing matters even more when you remember that just months ago, the world #1 herself was telling reporters not to expect anything special from Nike this season. So while one of the biggest names in the sport was managing expectations down, Nike turned around and built something entirely new for the player who just kept winning. That contrast is exactly where we're starting. Let's rewind to what actually happened in Washington. Eala walked into the Mubadala DC Open and had to survive one of the toughest possible draws to even reach the final. When she got there, she ran into Jessica Pegula, the American who has owned that tournament before, having claimed her own first WTA title there back in 2019. The final got pushed into a second day by rain, which meant Eala had to sit with the moment overnight before finishing the job. She dropped the first set 4-6, clawed back to take the second 6-4, and then completely ran away with the decider, closing it out 6-0. That's not just a win, that's a statement, delivered under pressure, against a name-brand opponent, on a stage that doesn't forgive nerves. The scoreline alone would have been enough for headlines, but the context is what turned this into a genuine moment. Eala became the first Filipina to ever win a WTA Tour singles title. Not top 10, not a deep run, an actual title. She climbed to a career-high ranking of number 20 in the world off the back of it. And this wasn't some no-name event either. This was a WTA 500, a real tune-up for the US Open, and she took it down in her tournament debut. The reaction on site was just as telling as the result. Washington Open chairman Mark Ein didn't hold back afterward. He'd noticed Eala wearing a Nike shirt earlier in the week with a Filipino phrase on it, one that roughly translates to, "Once it grows, it can't stop." By the time the trophy was in her hands, that phrase wasn't just a slogan anymore. It was basically a prophecy. Ein told her directly that she was growing right in front of everyone's eyes, and he said it in public, on record. When tournament owners are handing out lines like that, you know the sport is paying attention. So now, Nike answers. Fresh off that win, Nike revealed Eala's dress for the US Open, part of their Nike Court Slam line, and it's set to retail for around $140 once it hits Nike.com. According to Nike's own product notes, the design is built for players who want to strike first. Lightweight, slam-ready, made for someone who isn't playing it safe on the biggest stage of the year. Considering what Eala just did in Washington, that description fits her like it was written specifically about her. Because in a lot of ways, it was. And this isn't the first time Nike has gone out of their way for her. Go back to her junior career, and you'll find the seeds of this relationship. Eala broke through as the first Filipino player to win a girls' singles title at a major, and Nike has been building around her ever since, long before most casual fans even knew her name. When she made her senior breakthrough, upsetting a top 5 ranked opponent at the Miami Open, and becoming the first Filipina to topple multiple top 5 players, Nike leaned in harder. They put her on the cover of a Vogue feature unveiling an entire Nike by You collection built around her, titled In Full Bloom, complete with a tee, a tote bag, and a ball cap, all sold through local retail in the Philippines. That's not a token gesture. That's a brand treating a rising star like a genuine cornerstone.
My agent sent me over this kind of PDF, and it was the presentation of this Sampaguita project that Nike had made. I was like 2 nights before my match at Wimbledon, and it was so beautiful. It was like the message behind it was great. I felt that it fit me so much.
Then there's the pair of custom Air Force Ones Nike made to honor one of her Grand Slam moments, with the trophy silhouette stitched into one heel and the Philippine flag worked into the other. That's the kind of detail brands only put into gear for athletes they expect to be around for the long haul. Here's what makes the timing land even harder. Back at the WTA finals in Riyadh, a reporter asked Aryna Sabalenka directly about her Nike kits and what fans could expect heading into the new season. Her answer was blunt. She admitted this past year's dress had been a genuine collaboration she was proud of, then flatly told the room that next season is not going to be that special for her on that front, before half-joking that fans should start flooding Nike's Instagram to apply pressure. That's the world number one, the reigning US Open champion at the time, openly setting expectations low for her own sponsor's effort going into 2026.
And yeah, unfortunately next season it's not gonna be that special for me, but exactly, maybe we should just start messaging Nike Instagram and like putting some pressure on, but let's wait for 2027 because that year going to be.
Now hold that next to what just happened. While the world number one was publicly bracing fans for a quiet year of gear, Nike turned around and built an entire dedicated release around a 21-year-old who had just won her first tour-level title. Not a reskin, a purpose-built Nike Court Slam dress, timed to her breakthrough. The contrast writes itself. One player told the world not to expect much. The other just watched Nike move mountains for her the moment she delivered. That's not a knock on Sabalenka. Her own kits have had a rough go with fans this season regardless. But it does mean the spotlight inside Nike's tennis roster is shifting. And it's shifting for exactly the right reasons. Eala keeps winning, and the brand keeps showing up for her because of it. And the results back it up at every turn. Before Washington, Eala had already been putting together one of the most talked about seasons on the WTA calendar. An upset run through Wimbledon that saw her topple a former world number one, a runner-up finish at Eastbourne, and a breakout Miami Open where she knocked out a top 5 ranked player to reach her first career semifinal. Every one of those results chipped away at the idea that she was just a promising junior talent and turned her into someone opponents now have to genuinely prepare for. Washington was simply the moment all of that finally converted into a trophy. Which brings us back to where we started. The Washington Open win isn't an isolated headline. It's the latest chapter in a pattern Nike has clearly bought into for years. And the new US Open collection is simply the next installment. Every piece of gear, from the Junior Slam tee to the custom sneakers to the Vogue collection to now the Slam dress, tells the same story. A brand that identified a player early, kept building around her at every milestone, and is now scaling that investment right alongside her results. Before we get further into what this means heading into the US Open, I want to hear from you directly. If you've been following Eala's run this year, you already know this Washington title didn't come out of nowhere. It was building for months. So drop a comment and tell me where you think this run tops out. Do you see her carrying this form into New York and making a real run at the US Open? Or was Washington the peak of this particular hot streak before the bigger names tighten up? And for those of you just discovering her story through this video, welcome in, because this is genuinely one of the most compelling breakthrough stories in tennis right now, and it deserves more eyes on it. Hit subscribe if you want to keep up with every step of this journey, because it's moving fast and it's only getting bigger from here. What makes this particular collection worth watching closely isn't just the design or the price tag, it's the timing. Nike didn't wait for a Grand Slam run to justify the investment. They moved the moment she delivered her first tour-level title, treating a WTA 500 breakthrough with the same urgency most brands reserve for major finals. That's a signal about where they think her ceiling actually is. Eala is now walking into the US Open as a woman with a fresh trophy, a career-high ranking, brand new signature gear on her back, and a growing wave of attention following her into Flushing. Whether she can carry the momentum from Washington into a deep run at a major is the next real test. But Nike has clearly already placed its bet on her answering that question the right way. The dress is on the rack, the ranking is climbing, and the story Nike started building years ago with a Junior Slam title just added its biggest chapter yet.